Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, they are talking about doing a remake of Starship Troopers. I didn't really see this coming because Starship Troopers is one of those almost perfect films where it hasn't aged. I watched it a while ago. It hasn't aged, so I wouldn't think, gee, we need to remake this. So I'm surprised that it's happening, and it's a little disturbing because supposedly it's going to be based more on the novel. Now, the novel is very clearly a fascist version of the future where basically we give up all our rights and everything to the military, and everyone has to, join the military in order to have, human rights and equal rights, and it's a very disturbing idea. And something that I loved about the film, which I didn't know at the time, but I know now, is that the film was making fun of the novel and that idea, and it was a parody, and it was making fun of propaganda and that whole era that book came out of, while still having an adventure with, fighting the arachnids and everything. And Paul Verhoeven, or whatever his name is, did a really great job of balancing that parody and that adventure, and that just like they did a good job of balancing CGI effects and practical effects. They still use practical effects for a lot of the ship shots. They are beautiful. You can just look at those beauty shots. And it's one of the last films that had beauty shots like that from models and stuff, while also using CGI effectively. I haven't watched the film in probably a decade. But the last time I watched it, I was surprised at how well it held up. I was shocked by it at the time. I was watching it, I'm like, how did they do this? How did they do this? And years later I was watching it, I'm like, I don't know how they did that. I don't know how it keeps holding up. I'm not sure if it will now, if I'm watching it now today. And I'm probably going to watch it again now. But so part of me is like, oh, that'd be great to see it again. But I'm like, could they improve on it? I don't think so. One of the elements in the novel that isn't in the movie is that the Marines, or whatever they are, use exosuits, and that's something now that we've seen a lot in shows because of CGI, where everyone's got an exosuit and everyone's basically like superheroes now, and everyone's Iron Man, and it's I'm not looking forward to that element coming into it, because it just seems like, oh, just wait, we've got a story about people in exosuits, let's just do, it's like, yeah, it's just like everyone has an exosuit. It's just, and I get that there is a reality that is the direction the military is going with certain things, and so I'm not feeling optimistic about this, because this can go either one of two ways. Either it's going to be really woke, which would be good, where they're going to show how bad war is, because the original film, they showed what can happen if you give up your power to the military and you are just fed propaganda and don't question it, and they make a joke of it because it's so obvious, because we were in a nice place back in the 90s where we were aware of propaganda, we were aware of all this stuff, and now we've moved into this era now where people can't tell the difference between reality TV and propaganda and fake news anymore. People don't have the ability to do that. It's kind of disturbing now, because they could almost do it about our time, for one, but also, are they going to make this a propaganda piece? Is this going to be all about how, big corporations coming in and ruling over, like monarchies, and everyone having to earn their rights, and only some people being worthy of it, and just the elitism and white supremacy and all that stuff? Are they going to depict this as a way to go forward in the future? Is this going to be depicted as, the future and how we should be, as opposed to, a warning, a satire, a parody of the past and what they thought, and how we know now how wrong that was? So I'm kind of worried. I'm like, there's been no idea of which direction this is going. Are they going to, do an intelligent, educated look at this as a piece of propaganda, or are they going to just create, the original novel as propaganda, and try and portray these, these Marines or whatever as heroes, and because remember, we started the war with the bugs. They were defending themselves against us, and that's something which came more from the movie than the book, because the book very much just made the bugs just these sort of cartoon, characters, baddies, whereas the film actually, and it didn't just make it up, but there's elements of it in the novel, I believe. But so I don't know. I don't know if this is a good thing or not. I just don't see how they can improve on the visuals. I don't think having a bunch of people flying around in mech suits fighting aliens is going to be that interesting. This is going to be all CGI, and it's just I don't see they're improving anything. Another look at the propaganda could be entertaining, but if they're going to take it seriously and actually make it a propaganda piece, that's really disturbing. So I don't know what way this is going to go, and I'm not feeling optimistic about it, but we'll see what happens. We'll know soon, I guess, what direction they're going in. But yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the idea of a new Starship Troopers.